Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Three Ps and Games. So, this video is going to be short, I hope, but it's going to be a long one actually. Um, so, once again, my name is Toby, and today I'm going to be just talking through the recent development of in Xbox and giving a whole, long gamut of explanation as to why things are the way they are, and hopefully able to convince some of you that I think this is the right decision for Xbox. In hindsight, you may not like it. I know some fans that got the system recently maybe may feel betrayed, but it's what it is. I know you may have thought, okay, I'm buying an Xbox instead of a PlayStation because I can get Xbox exclusive games and Game Pass and the likes, and I like the hardware. And now you may be thinking, oh, why didn't I just get a PlayStation? And people don't seem to understand that the console war is not really a console war as I see it. It's just a bunch of buyer's remorse and, would I say, the feeling of, okay, I made the right buying decision, essentially. That's really what you are fighting against the community that builds up based on buying decisions. So that feeling that the player gets that, okay, I should have gone with this or this, but oh, I went to the PlayStation, I made the right call. That feeling is what people are really chasing after. But I digress. So just going to look back at the Xbox 360, starting from there. So from Xbox 360, I think arguably the PlayStation, I mean Xbox greatest generation. Second console, great franchises, Gears, Halo 3 did really well. Forza, great franchises there. Third parties really enjoyed their time there as well. Fully established themselves there. Call of Duty, they came out first, had a year head start on Sony and the PS3. Did really well. Even though the PS3 ended up selling more than the Xbox 360. I think mostly due to the fact that Sony seems to have a would I say edge when it comes to more of the global market outside of Europe and North America. Sony has an edge in Japan and Asia and maybe the few units they sell in Africa as well, they have some sales there as well, better than what Xbox sells. So that will help push it above 360. That, in my opinion, that's what helped it. And also towards the end of the generation, Sony really picked up with quality first party releases, and I think The Last of Us towards the end of the PS2 generation was a huge standout. Um, one of the highest rated games ever, and I think that was a good way to lead in players to PS4, expecting high quality first party games from Sony. It's not easy when you drop one of the highest rated games ever. It sets expectations that your next console you're gonna see more of those kind of games. And I think Sony realized that and they kept to it. So Xbox had those games with Halo, some of the Gears, Forza, but towards the end they floundered. Won't lie, I think Halo 4 didn't do so hot on the system. So yeah, they had some ups and downs there, but I know they tried. A lot of hardworking folks at Microsoft and Xbox, but the transition to Xbox One was did not go well. Everybody knows that the famous DRM incidents, the whole Connect bundle being bundled with the system, $100 more than the PlayStation 4, which launched at 400. Xbox One was 500. The old debacle it was a miserable launch period for Xbox, and like I can't imagine working in that kind of environment there. But the major problem that brought about was low software sales and low player base. Because think about it, low install base means third parties get to sell, make less money from your system. You get to take less, 30% cut from your system. Even your own third party sales, become your own first party sales become low. Game development is expensive. If you're going to be making your games exclusive, you want to ensure that you're making good money from those games as much as possible. And it didn't really go well for them. So Phil coming in and Phil saying, okay, let's change things up. Phil is a gamer's gamer, a real consumer, and really wants to see how he can make things easy for the consumer. So disruption. Let's see how we can disrupt the market. Either his disruption will be successful or not is left to be seen. I know this is a long-term strategy, but so far so good. It hasn't been too successful. Phil's hardworking, and him and his team are well experienced. But as someone who is a consumer on the outside, I don't understand the strategy. And with their finances and struggles over the years, it hasn't seemed to work as well as they expected and many expected. But you know, we see how they will continue that strategy. So of course that brought about the disruption. So first thing, how do we counter low software sales? Let's put games on PC. So if our games are not selling so well on our own system, let's put it on PC as much as possible. The third parties already put their games on PC, so they don't really have much effect on us. So let's put Game Pass on. Let's put our games on PC day and date. Now, when they announced that, a lot of people said that doesn't make sense. Even if you're going to do games on PC, why don't you make it exclusive for a while? Day and date, you're going to devalue the Xbox brand, the Xbox console brand, and which I agree because either you like it or not, Microsoft and Windows, Microsoft and PC are intrinsically linked. Xbox, anyone that knows that the association would think of the same thing. So why not just get a PC that you can play Xbox games and third party games, at higher fidelity, better graphics and whatnot? Why do you need an Xbox for that? They may think not a significant number of players will think that way, but I think a good number of players, maybe even if it's that maybe 10% of ex console players would think that way. Say why don't they just move to PC? And I think in hindsight, it's easy to say now in hindsight, but that was my concern then. That was a lot of people's concern then, and you know, Game Pass was what they really used to quell those concerns. And I think a lot of people fell for the Xbox PR marketing noise, which is normal. It's a big company; they do that. But I felt they really use that to bring down a lot of people's concerns. So of course, Game Pass launched 2017. Game Pass also went to PC as well. But the problem is, Game Pass subscribers, fortunately, didn't grow as they expected. You know what their target was for um 2030, 100 million. Doesn't look like they will get to 100 million subscribers. Things were not going well. So Game Pass did not turn out to be the magic bullet they thought to be. Now, some may say, "Oh, okay, well, they are waiting for PC, the mobile and the other things to pick up," which, I want to agree as well. I want to, but I can't because that market is unproven yet. Yes, they're trying to expand to it, but so far so good. The platform holders, Google and Apple, have made life very difficult, and I don't understand why Microsoft rely on those people that make life difficult for them. Yeah, so I don't know. They made life very difficult, and that's a challenge. So subs did not grow as much as well as expected. Xbox Series S hardware, due to what I consider a terrible lineup in 2022, 2023, was not growing well. And of course, the PC games on day and date on PC has already devalued the purpose of Xbox console. Then you have the resulting effect of low subs, low console sales. Low subs, low console sales mean we're back to square one again. Low software and you know low player base numbers. We're back to square one. So vicious cycle. Because not only that, Game Pass is also cannibalizing software sales as well. You understand? So danger all around. Low subs, low software sales, low player numbers, and you can understand the vicious cycle. What do you do in that kind of situation? You know, can you increase your content, get more content to turn Game Pass subscribers around, and make sure they move up to a positive outcome? Can you do that? Maybe you can try that. So acquiring Activision Blizzard, testing out a game like Starfield and saying, okay, the Starfield, increase our Game Pass subscriber numbers significantly. All indications is no, it didn't really do that significantly. So it is not wise to keep those games exclusive because you're not getting the results you expected from Game Pass numbers. So Activision Blizzard, good acquisition. What has that done for them? So player base numbers, that is going to rise. Let me see an uptake in player base numbers from them. It's going to see a uptake. That is one good thing about it. Daily active users, monthly active users, those are going to see a sharp rise, especially on mobile and other platforms. They're going to see a rise. Software sales, on the other hand, not really. Not really. Not really. Um, you're not going to see much difference in software sales because unless more players are buying games on Xbox or more players decide to leave a Steam from PC and buy on the Xbox store, low software sales will continue to be a common trend, unfortunately. So how does Xbox leave this vicious cycle? Because player base is strong now because they've added new players from Activision Blizzard. But by next year, when they're expecting growth, what will be the player base growth? They may not really get the growth they are looking for because they may actually lose players to PlayStation because their consoles are not going well. They may lose players to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch too. Who have really dominated the section and seen growth in player base numbers and hardware. In fact, because yes, even though PlayStation PS5 is not selling as well as you expected, it has a higher price. We are more profitable. Um, this Sony said this is the most profitable they've been in years. Uh, they've made some losses, with their live service games and whatnot. But the PS5 is tracking well in US, and which makes sense. They put a lot of focus in the US, and it has paid off. Not doing well in Japan and some of the part of the world, but because the pricing is so high. But I think they probably would target those markets later with discounts. But now I feel that maybe they want to, see how much they can take in from the US as much as possible. If they could cover up from PS3, I think they can also, pick up a couple of units here as well. So Sony is not new to picking up units later in the life console's life cycle. So let's see how well they do. Nintendo on the other hand is just winning. High first party sales, high software sales, high hardware sales, everything is just growing for them. They're doing well. So, they haven't done anything too spectacular. And one thing I also want to know when these two want to do subscription, everything they are doing is to ensure that their hardware sales grows. Now, PlayStation is also putting games on PC, but they are doing it in with a time frame, 6 months, 1 year. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, PlayStation will start doing day and date PC releases." It depends. It depends because PlayStation makes a whole lot of revenue from third parties, like a whole lot from Call of Duty, Fortnite, Roblox. I don't think Sony wants to lose that chunk of revenue. They want the PlayStation to be the hardware location for the most part for a lot of those games. For Fortnite, for many of those games, they want them to be the location. And if they devalue their console by releasing games they want on PC, they may lose the opportunity, and that's why they're being careful. They want that consoles to still be where they have the power. They want that control. Nintendo, on the other hand, of course, doesn't even want to risk losing control of the hardware in any form. So PC game is not even happening for them because that's where they make most of their money. That's where they sell their first party and make most of their money. So they're going to be losing their cash cow. It doesn't make sense to give up 30% of everything you sell because you want to sell to more players. If you play your cards right, you can sell a whole lot of hardware and sell so much software that you won't think of looking outside and be highly profitable like Nintendo. And I think that's what Sony is doing. Because if you look at Sony's pricing strategy this gen, their prices have largely refused to drop as they used to drop in the PS4 generation. They kept their prices relatively similar and low discounts. You know, when it comes to putting games on PS Plus Extra, they wait 2 3 years before they put their first party games on PS Plus Extra. Just to encourage players to not expect blockbuster games on their subscriptions, which in turn to help increase player spending as well. So they're trying to toe that line because end of the day, even Sony realizes that even though cloud and mobile is still not certain yet, it's the way of the future, and they're trying to with the PlayStation Portal and everything, trying to build towards that. But they don't know how successful the market will be. And Sony's thing of let's see the competition try it. If they are successful, we copy it. If you're not successful, what can we copy from that outing and implement to our own strategy? That's usually how they go about things when it comes to gaming I've seen and PlayStation. So, subscription services, online subscription was successful with Xbox. They integrated it. Game Pass was looking successful. They brought about PS Extra, PS Premium, and whatnot. So, they find the ways to implement it. They did an experiment with Horizon Forbidden West to see how players spending would trend after a big first party game comes on, the subscription platform, and they could see that player spending when it comes to comparing the sales of Forbidden West to Horizon Zero Dawn, the sales trended downwards. So I think they know that following Microsoft in what Microsoft is doing essentially doesn't make sense. I think people don't understand that they look at certain things and they test. They don't just copy for copying sake. If the copy when it works, they don't copy when it doesn't work. So far, so good. Microsoft hasn't proven that their strategy is the working strategy because right now they have gone towards the far end, which is third party. And I don't blame them because they need to look at how they can migrate third parties and low software sales. And the only way to migrate low software sales is by making sure the games on every platform possible and make that money they need because Game Pass subscribers is not growing as well as they expected. So maybe in the next couple of years with Call of Duty and the like, Game Pass subscribers trend upwards and they have a huge number of subscribers across all platforms, console, PC, and cloud and mobile. It's even possible they can say, you know what, let us cut games from PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. Let's make those games exclusive in a way to build people back to their platform. So, all in all, it's a very interesting situation. But I think people to cut feel some slack. They've tried. It's not an easy situation. This is the sensible bus stop to make them not get sold by Satya. And I think this is where they will concentrate, and this is where they should finish up. Settle down right now. And maybe later, if cloud and other things pick up and they have a strong platform, they can now say, okay, let us take stuff from being exclusive. Let us make some things exclusive again. We've built a audience for these games in other platforms. Let's bring them over to Game Pass. So I think in the long run, let's see how things will play out. But for now, I think low software sales, low hardware sales, low subs, this is the sure way to ensure that they can make good revenue while hoping for the subs to grow due to cloud and mobile. Because I don't really have faith, even though Phil says that they have hardware coming up. I don't have faith that the hardware will do anything. I just don't think players will go to your hardware when they know they can get PlayStation games day one, unless the hardware has something fantastic, like unless they go for maybe a Halo product, something that is not really subsidized, pricey, but best on the market in terms of GPU and hardware. And they just release a 700, 700, 800 console, and the best of the best, and hope that people just flock to it because it has more power. Yeah, I don't know, but let's see. Power doesn't really win generations, but so I don't know. I don't really have faith in their next hardware. I just think pushing their cloud and mobile strategy and ignoring console is the best. Is the TV cloud, mobile smart TV, whatever is the best, and just ignore console hardware. But the problem now is if you ignore console hardware, what happens to Game Pass? Because if these ones don't grow Game Pass numbers and if PC does not pick up the slack, right, another huge issue. So it's a vicious cycle. I don't know how they'll get out of it, honestly. I think they've gone too far with Game Pass to back down now. But if I'm going to say what I think they should do, Game Pass should have is a cloud, mobile, smart TV subscription price alone. I think the $23 price for Game Pass Ultimate and it doesn't really make sense unless you have an Xbox hardware yourself. So it's pointless. They should have a different tier for streaming alone to mobile, different tier for streaming to PC. The experience is not good enough as good as console, but maybe the casuals will not notice. Yeah, so that's it for this video. Quite a long one. I'll be posting it on YouTube. If you have anything extra to add, I know I just try to make it as simple as possible. If you have any comments you want to discuss on it, you can talk to me, you can invite me. You can go into more details and discuss and just iron out anything that needs to be talked about. And you can any correction you want to make, any assumptions you feel I'm making that is wrong, I would love to be corrected. Thank you very much.